let's get in the next one.
Soulmate.
Yes. Now, Soulmate is in the same universe as Megan. And I'm thinking, although they did not address it in the movie, I thought that they would have had just a few lines about the company that made the Soulmate.
But they kind of did. Well, not the Soulmate, but they did have. There was a tie-in. You know, I remember I told you, and they showed it several times.
Oh yeah, the little Echo Dot thing
that was in that movie that we watched.
But I mean, there should have been more of a tie-in, because if you remember, in Megan, there was that one character that had stolen some of the like schematics for Megan. So I thought that this would be the competitor company that got those schematics and created this.
Oh.
But they didn't go there with that. So yeah, I'm surprised you guys have not yet heard of. Oh, Doc says he is on the Rhode Island border. Yep.
All right.
And says that he has not heard or seen the trailer for this. I would love to play the trailer, but like I said, I'm tired of fighting with these companies for copyright. In a nutshell, Soulmate is like Megan, except for she is meant to be a companion for adults. And hence this movie is quite rated R. You might as well call her. R, no. You think it's not rated R enough?
No.
As much as they showed this actress's titties.
Yeah.
It's very the thing with Soulmate, I would say it's very almost 90s thriller coded, but not quite campy enough. I felt that for number one, it was overly long. It was almost 2 hours long. I think it should only been 90 minutes. Unless you were going to load the front end with the backstory about the companies, which they didn't do. So I felt like there wasn't enough story there for them to stretch it this long. And I'll let Tony Man say what his spoiler-free thought of this was.
It was boring. I mean, I didn't care about the dude at all. But the funny thing about it is, what did I tell you before? I think I told you this a long time ago. And you said I was being sexist towards men.
What did I say?
I said it doesn't matter what kind of robot you get. Mm-hmm. You put a vagina on it and the dude's going to try to have sex with it. That's exactly what happened with this. Every movie we've seen with a robot, they try to bang it. Okay. That's just what some dudes do.
Yeah, I guess so.
You can have like I'm sure out there somewhere, mm-hmm. There's a Ryobi. Ryobi?
Yeah, Ryobi is the vacuum cleaner, right?
Well, one of those, yeah, I'm sure someone's tried something with one of those vacuum cleaners. I'm telling you right now, dudes, we just...
Well, we know one that has. Have you ever seen Double Toasted on YouTube?
Yes.
Well, Corey has said that he tried to do something with a vacuum cleaner when he was 13 years old.
That's what I'm saying. See, if it looks like a hole, then we're going to try to... But the girl... She was, I don't know. She was pretty, like, in the face. I couldn't get past her nose, like the tip of her nose. It looked like a butt. That's all I kept looking at was her nose, like, because you could see it there.
They could have just put makeup on that. Like they really could have just.
I didn't. Was this directed by a woman or a man?
Oh, I can tell you it's directed by a woman.
Yeah,
you don't know.
Yeah, I know how it was directed by a woman. You know how I know?
Don't spoil it yet.
No, because most of the stuff was like male chauvinist pig shit. It was
illustrating. It was written from the perspective of a woman and illustrating certain things that women go through. Young women go through very, 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 very often. Her character kind of. Well, let me backtrack because I should let you guys know a little bit what this is about. The gentleman you see there in the picture, and he's on his computer, and he has the android robot behind him. He works for a software development company, and so he was supposed to beta test this partner android that's supposed to help people who are lonely. Now, before she was an android, she was just an AI, like what a lot of people have on their phones right now, that you can talk to. So it would be like if you talk to your Amazon Dot, and then she suddenly got a body.
Gemini.
Yes, or you talk to Gemini and she got a body. That's the way it kind of the story kind of goes. But where he fucked up, and well, that would be going into spoiler. Well, it's a mild spoiler because it probably is in the trailer anyways. He fucks up by removing some of her
protocols.
Matter of fact, I wrote a note. Hang on,
Like
let me pull up my notes.
He did like a reverse RoboCop when it had protocol 1, protocol 2, and then he got electrified and they gave him different protocols.
I wrote down specifically. He wrote into the code void emotional regulation. What kind of idiot would void the emotional regulation? Maybe limit the emotional regulation?
Nope.
Or set emotional regulation parameters?
Well, you know what the problem is?
Or put a governor on emotional regulation, but to remove it completely? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen anybody do in a sci-fi movie. Like, what the hell?
You know why he did that? He was trying to make her more of a woman. Guess what you don't have?
I have emotional regulation.
No, the hell you don't. No, the hell you don't.
Look how many days of the year that I don't strangle you. That's emotional regulation.
That's
that, and I can't fit my hands around your neck.
Damn, that's probably the bigger reason. But you don't have emotional regulation at all. No, you don't. And I don't know a lot of people that do have emotional regulation.
Most people have emotional regulation. That's why we don't kill each other every day. That's why we don't walk around just punching people in the face.
Oh,
it's because we have emotional regulation.
Oh, okay. All right. Should I give you more examples like postpartum or driving your kids into the ocean?
Well, that's
emotional regulation.
Yeah, but you can't say that no one has emotional regulation because society would not be able to function if we didn't have emotional regulation. People would just be wilding out all the time, everywhere.
And how many times have we gotten in conversations, right? And I'll mention one thing, and you completely just fucking. And I go, and I say to you, what do I say to you all the time? Think with logic, not with emotion, and that pisses you off even more. That I say you got to think with logic and not emotion because you think with emotion.
It depends on what you're talking about. Yes, if we are programming a computer, yes, you think with logic. But if you're talking about someone's day-to-day activities, and there are certain things that are emotional. Yeah. They're inherently emotional, and you can't divorce yourself from that. Because if you divorce yourself from emotion, you also divorce yourself from something called empathy.
No, you can still be empathetic.
Empathy is tied to emotion because it's how you feel.
Oh,
you feel empathy.
Well, okay.
Okay, now back to the movie. So he does that stupid stuff about removing or voiding her emotional regulation. And so, of course, she does not understand when she's going too far because you've voided her regulation. Also, he kept on pouring maple syrup on his burgers, and I don't know what that was about. I've never seen anyone do that. Is that a Canadian thing? Somebody let me know.
Oh, and where was this shot? Remember I told you? Ireland.
Ireland. Yes. The whole movie is shot in Ireland.
Yes.
Ireland looks great. Looks cool. Minky Latte says, I always compare the Android films like this one to Ghost in the Shell 2. I have not seen Ghost in the Shell or Ghost in the Shell 2.
You know what I compare it to?
What?
The Scarlett Johansson one. But no, the chick with the weird thumbs.
Megan Fox.
Remember she was the Android too?
Yes.
It was this movie.
Yeah, it was similar to this. It was exactly. What was the name of that movie? Let me find
Megan Fox's weird thumbs.
Megan Fox Android movie.
Megan Fox, the weird thumbs.
I didn't get it. This thing wants me to turn on Gemini so bad because suddenly it's not working right.
Where's okay. We need some people here. Come on.
Subservience was the name of that movie.
Okay, there you go.
Subservience. To me, this was better than Subservience. I like this one better. I do think that they could have cut down the runtime, but I like this one better.
You can't die, by the way.
What's that?
I said you can't. The way people are dying, they can't die that way.
Oh,
it'll hurt.
Yeah. You would survive that, unfortunately.
Yeah, you would. It's so.
All right, so I hope you guys are prepared because I can't talk about this anymore without. Well, no, there's a couple things I could
to say. Lady Shasha already loved this movie. You could tell.
Yes, I do. I like the. Well, the thing is, this movie explores some of the same subject matter that you see that we've recently seen in Obsession. And I will count
Yeah.
I will count the ways before we get into the deep spoilers. I'm gonna advance it anyways because you guys might consider this spoilers, you might not. So I'm gonna advance it and say spoiler warning either way. Um,
Mhm.
the protagonist in this movie is very similar to Bear in Obsession in that he is awkward and shy, and both characters were also dealing with a recent death. With Bear, it
Yeah.
was both his grandmother and then also more recently his cat. With this main character, what was his name? Dave.
Yes. Yes.
And Dave recently lost his wife, so he was dealing with that loss. But both of them are the archetype of the person who thinks they're a nice guy, but they really aren't a nice guy deep down.
We're losers.
Okay.
Lonely losers that sit in a room and they get on their computers and that's all they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's typical. That's what a woman director thinks that
Well, no,
guys are like.
Not all guys, just a certain archetype of guy. There's a certain type of guy that's like this. Both of them are overly withdrawn from their peers. Both of them have an Asian coworker that secretly loves them, which I feel like this is like a stereotype that they would want. I think this is almost like wish fulfillment of that archetype of dude, because that's the type of dude that maybe he watches hentai, don't know, but he might be that type of dude because
I don't know.
Because why is there this? I hope my Asian coworker has a crush on me, but
No, he didn't hope. He didn't get any signals. Both of them, both of the girls had a crush on him. They both did, but what did they both do? They went to some more strange, the one that they couldn't get, the strange.
Yeah.
The snappy nappy. They
Yeah.
couldn't get it from.
Oh my God! Don't you ever say that again.
I was going to say the nappy dugout.
Don't say that again either. No, none of those 90s terms. No.
Anyways,
leave them in the 90s.
He couldn't. He could really. He couldn't. No, they go for the one that they can't get instead of getting the one that they should be getting.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that
didn't they do that in Some Kind of Wonderful too? Some Kind of Wonderful. He
probably
that drummer chick with the bleached blonde hair liked him, but he liked that prissy chick.
Yeah. When you think about it, all these movies are Some Kind of Wonderful over and over again.
This one is with a killer robot.
Yeah, Some Kind of Wonderful with a killer robot. Some Kind of Wonderful with a demonic entity. Some Kind of Wonderful. That's what these are.
That wasn't the entity, by the way.
Yeah,
it wasn't. In Obsession, that was not an entity.
That was an entity.
That was not an entity.
Then what do you think it was?
It was a wish. It wasn't demonic.
That shit was demonic to me.
It wasn't demonic.
That creepy shit was demonic. Let me finish. In both cases, both with Obsession and with Soulmate, the Asian coworker crush gets attacked by the object of the male protagonist's affection. It's like the same movie over again, except for Obsession is done in a I think a heavier way.
I told you what Obsession is. Remember?
What?
When I said it, when Bear was laying in the bed and Nikki was laying with him, and he moved her arm and she said, "Leah!" She screamed, right? And I said, "What did I tell you? That's what the cats do." Yeah. So Obsession was when he said that he wants someone to love him more than anything else in the world. I think it was his cat. The cat, and she became like the cat.
Cats do sometimes watch you while you're sleeping too. They're just be sitting there looking at you.
Right. She stood by the door waiting for him to come home. How many times have these cats ever just like sat and stared at the door waiting for you to walk in and they see you?
They don't. They play and they also take naps. They have their own lives.
Mine does that. Then when she threw up on the floor and he was like, "What happened?" She said, "I ate a bug." What happens when a cat eats bugs? They throw up.
Yeah, well, they can throw up without having to eat a bug.
Like, ooh. By the way, this has been distracting me since we started. But what did I give you? What the hell is that picture on your wall?
This picture right here?
Yes. What is that?
This is from the TV series From.
Did that come with the talisman I got you?
Yes, that came with the talisman.
Oh, okay. All right.
This also came with something you got me. This Beetlejuice picture.
Yeah. All right, just making sure. Make sure you talk in the mic all the time, though. 'cause
Yeah. Well,
when
I turned, I turned my head to look at the picture. But I want to call attention to a couple comments. Doc Replicant says you could put a vajayjay on a toaster and someone would pork it.
That's what I'm saying.
And then Darth Redmond said, "Mom told you not to disturb me while I'm vacuuming my room."
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I know someone that did a. I'll leave that one. It's X-rated.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about our vice president and the couch cushions.
He wasn't the first.
No, I know he's not the first and not the only either. There was something else I wanted to say. The main point is instead of Dave making a supernatural wish, he programmed his wishes into Sarah's system, basically.
And it all started because they were online. Well, he was doing his soulmate thing on his phone,
and
he put these stupid goggle things on, and they were playing chess, and she kept beating him. And then when she became a robot, he kept beating her, and he was like, "This is not how I like this. I got to change this. You got to be more competitive." Or he said something like,
he wanted her to be more competitive and less subservient.
Right.
But because he took the complete governor off of her, she goes into, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to do. That's when the movie got fun.
I liked her better the other way.
Yeah, a lot of men like subservience until they're tasked with having to handle everything by themselves. Because a lot of these guys that have this fantasy, I want it to be like the 50s. Oh, do you? So are you going to pay for, my clothes and my hair to get done and my nails to get done? And because that's what those dudes in the 50s they had to pay for their wives. Everything that their wives needed, they had to pay for that.
If it happens like that, and those dudes that want the 50s back,
mm-hmm.
then it should be all encompassing, should it not? If he has to work, she has to have food on the table, correct? But she has to get her clothes, correct? Oh, so I'm on the right track, right? Okay. But so food's not ready. Does he get to backhand her across the fucking living room and be like, "Get out, bitch, get my food"? Because that's also was in the 50s. Oh, or we're going to put a governor on that too.
That's my whole thing. That's why nobody wants to go back to the 50s. But do you know what also used to happen in the 50s? And this is what my grandmother told me.
When men would die.
Yeah, she said that if you bring those things back, then you bring back the women that poison their husbands or kill them in their sleep. So
bring back the Breaking Bad, man.
She said before women were able to get divorced, they'd just put a little arsenic in your coffee. Allegedly.
That is, Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, I was feeling a little bit woozy the other day. I wonder why.
Nah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's get into the fun parts of the movie.
She's not incriminating herself, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's get into the fun part of this movie where she went outside the house. She went walking down the street, and of course, her being a tall, leggy, big titty blonde lady, she got sexually harassed, and she didn't take that very lightly, and she started messing dudes up. The first dude that she paid for an apple with her hand, and he was all, "How'd you do that? How'd you do that?" Demanding that she show him,
which no one does that.
Yeah. Well, you have never been a woman and been approached by men a certain way. You are a 6 foot tall man, and previously you were a 6 foot tall, 260-pound man. No one approached you that way.
Well, now what's the difference now? Because I'm 6 foot tall.
You're still 6 foot tall, but you're a little bit thinner. So you're
170 something. Also,
yeah, you're less imposing. But when you were more imposing, no one was ever going to approach you like that. If you could be a short woman for just 1 week, you would have, the world would be so different to how people approach you, how people talk to you, how people stand in your space when you're just out in public.
No.
Get in your personal space. They don't do that to you. There's a certain intimidation factor that keeps people from, treating you a certain way.
You got to be more. You guys got to be more like Onyx.
How are we going to be more like Onyx?
Back the fuck up. Back the fuck up.
Yeah, okay,
yeah. Just like, just when they get up in your space, be like, "Yo, back the fuck up. 3 feet. 3 feet."
Yeah,
that's what you gotta tell people.
But yes, these type of things do happen to women. That's why it's cathartic for the woman who directed this and for the women watching it to watch her fuck up that dude that would not leave her alone.
Yeah,
we've all wanted to do that. We've all wanted to have that ability to fuck up a dude that won't leave you alone.
Guys, let me tell you what this is right now, okay? And this is what they would call women porn. This is like this is women love. No, this movie is like all guys are getting fucked up and the women are surviving. Yeah, the women love this kind of stuff. This is what they live for. So this is a woman porn movie, guys.
No, this is just a cathartic. It's almost like a revenge movie, but in a way, like you can understand the perspective. Basically, let me continue enjoying what I'm enjoying. So the dude, he tries to sexually assault her. That's number one. He throws her on the ground and he tries to sexually assault her. But her being an android, she just grabs his junk and twists it until it bleeds. And, you know, he's messed up.
And headbutts him.
Yeah, she did headbutt him. Which
but he tried to cut her.
He did. He did cut her. He cut her hand. He cut her hand open.
How many? If this was if it took place at night, I can say, okay, I kind of understand.
I'm going to stop you right there. 3 out of every 5 women in America have been sexually assaulted. Doesn't matter when, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the time of day. Doesn't matter what they have on. They could be nuns. That's just how it is. We just finished talking about how men would stick their dick in a toaster.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah. So yeah, that's not a thing we're arguing. So let me continue. So there's another scene that I really like with the guy who is the head of the company that he gets his arms ripped off. I enjoyed the gore, but it was hard to tell whether it was practical or whether they overlaid the practical effects with CG.
What did he do that was so male deviant to get the car run over on him?
He created a female sex doll that's supposed to be subservient to men.
So that he's a bad man because he did that? Supply and demand?
And also that he wanted to put the governor back on her to make her subservient. She didn't want the governor put back on her to make her subservient.
And all the times when he put this chick to sleep in sleep mode.
He would tell her to go into sleep mode.
He wouldn't. He had every single opportunity to put her in sleep mode.
Yeah, and then reprogram her back, but he
never did.
Just like Bear had every opportunity. These are the same person. Dave and Bear are the same person. Dave is just Bear with a computer science degree.
Just dumb, dude was just dumb. Like I kept every time we put her to sleep, I was like, dude, just put her now. Just go do the code now. Nope. Leave me alone. Well, I kind of think that he actually liked it.
Yeah,
a little bit too.
I think he did.
When she was like, "I love you," but that's another thing. How can I don't understand how the cyborg can love someone.
She's just programmed to be their soulmate.
She saw it, but she saw the commercials.
Yeah.
When I said, "You have great skin. What are you doing?" She's like, "I use olive," whatever the hell she said.
She said a good exfoliation routine will help your skin. Like she just quotes commercials.
By the way, one thing I did like about this movie, the actress must have watched RoboCop because the way she was walking,
the way she turned, she
RoboCop
did. She turned just like RoboCop. The other thing I think she might have watched was Species. Yeah, because the way that she was moving through the city and engaging with people, learning about environment reminded me of Syl from Species.
She could be a remake of Species, and she could do it.
Yeah, she could. I heard that they want to bring Species back.
Oh, but I felt bad for Victoria Newman.
Yes, the actress that plays the coworker was also on The Boys. She plays Victoria Newman on The Boys. She
was like, "Bitch, get out of my house!" and threw wine on her. That's
because the android was watching reality TV and saw a woman yell at another woman and throw a drink at her, which is very reality TV. Like this happens all the time.
So did that show emotional regulation?
That shows writing, because most of those I'm using air quotes when I say reality TV have writers and they set up these scenes. That's why I can't watch them anymore, because it's just not real. I can see the producer manipulation. I could see the setup. Like it's not spontaneous anymore. It's very, very.
It's always a 3-camera shoot. So
that too.
Just like when you're watching a YouTube video or Instagram or whatever, the guy's like, "Can I interview you, please?" And they go to like 3 different shots. It's fake.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have time. I don't know. It's
all fake.
Let me tell you another scene that I really liked. When he called the company to come pick her up, and the company guy comes in, he does his little code that's supposed to make her shut down, but because old boy has messed with her coding, she doesn't shut down. She acts like, oh, I bet you want to feel what it feels like to be inside of one of these models. And of course, the technician jumps at the chance. She flips it on a bed and starts riding him. And then she just crushes his junk. Like you just see blood coming out.
And he died.
And
you can't die from that.
Yeah, you can't. You would. We watched. I showed you a clip from a documentary I was watching about a man who had lost his penis to gangrene or something, and how they were growing him another penis on his arm to replace that one. He lived for 2 years with that penis on his arm and not where it's supposed to be.
I know,
and
you showed me.
It's a British documentary. It's on YouTube. You guys look.
You know who else survived with a penis being cut off? John Wayne Bobbitt.
Yeah, that's right. John Wayne, Lorena Bobbitt.
But what I'm saying is that
that man would have survived.
This bothered me because she was like, "Oh, you want this? Come here, daddy." Any man worth their salt is gonna be like, "You're a fucking robot." No.
But there are some that still would do it.
Like I said, again, put a vagina on something, someone would try to bang it.
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't. I'd be like, "Nah, no, you're sexy robot," and that's just gross because David had numerous sex with it. Who cleans it out?
Oh God, I hadn't even thought of that. Ew.
so the repair guy is sticking his.
I don't want to think about it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Think about that.
Let's continue. There's a scene also where
Logic.
David takes the android out on like a date at a bar, and they end up in a back alley. After this being in the same universe of Megan, there has to be a musical number.
And Lady Shasha loved it.
Yeah, and so the android sings the Cardigans.
Love me, say that you. And you sang
me.
The whole damn song with her.
Fool me. That song she sang, and then they went out in the alley, and they were about to get it on, and this dude came with a camera and a light, was like, "Oh, look what you guys are doing!" Like trying to,
like no one would ever do that.
Like. This is the USA, and people have cell phones. They will record anything in public and put it online. And so she flips out because she knows he'll lose his job if that video gets put online. So she beats up the guy with the camera, and the picture that's the second one down on the left is her. She got her foot on his forehead, and she got the heel of her shoe on his teeth. She was about to flick each one of his teeth out of his mouth, and I loved every minute of it. But David stopped her and said, "You can't do that. You can't just do this to people." And she's like, "Why not?"
No, the dude with the camera got it worse.
Yeah.
She grabbed his arm and snapped it.
Yeah, she did. She snapped his wrist. Kind of like Jeff Goldblum did in The Fly. Was it The Fly when the dude
he threw up on it? He threw up on that.
No, there was a dude that he broke his arm too.
That was arm wrestling, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he was arm wrestling. He broke the dude's arm.
Oh yeah, the arm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
It was like that. Jeff Goldblum in The Fly. But yeah, those scenes were great. I think that this could have been. They should have leaned a little bit more into the camp. Let me see who wrote it. Did Akela Cooper screenwrite this one? Because she was the screenwriter on Megan. This one felt less campier than Megan. I wanted them to lean a little bit more into the camp.
No, it was more sexual.
Yeah, Chaz knows what I'm talking about. The Fly.
There you go, Chaz.
Let me see who is the screenwriter on Soulmate.
Yeah, because in that arm wrestling scene when they're gripping each other's hands, was it Jeff Goldblum or was it the other guy when he's squeezing his arm and you can see like the pussy shit? Was that he had Jeff Goldblum's hand, correct? He was squeezing it. Or was that Jeff Goldblum's hand
I can't remember. I just remember his wrist being broken.
And it's just like
okay. Story by James Wan.
Okay.
Screenplay by Kate Dolan. It's also co-written by, there's a story by for Ingrid Bisu and also a screenplay / story by for Raphael Jordan. So Akela Cooper did not work on this. Akela Cooper was the screenwriter on Megan.
Yeah.
And so that's why this one is not as campy as Megan. And I wish it was more campy. I can still see this movie becoming a cult classic. There's just something about it that I feel like just picture we're laughing at it because we're older, where our brains fully frontal lobe fully formed, all that. Imagine you catch this on streaming, you're 12, 13 years old.
I'd probably have a boner. I mean,
I'm picturing this. I pictured this similarly to. I'm trying to think of what movie is not considered a good movie to adults, but we loved it as kids. Like for
Weird
me,
Science.
no, I was thinking more like the Guyver
I was thinking more like Weird Science.
or the Wraith.
Weird Science was one of those kind of movies that it was like, you know, you wanted to be those two dudes and make the Barbie into Kelly LeBrock.
No, I just wanted Wyatt's house. That was a really nice house. But
Well, of course you're not a dude, so
Yeah.
you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, everybody wanted to be have a Kelly LeBrock.
mm-hmm. This is a good one. Darth Redmond said, "Drop Dead Fred." And Chaz reminds us that Akela Cooper also wrote *Malignant*. Yes, she did. I want to say, did she work on *Barbarian*? I wonder.
Wait, *Malignant* was the one with the dude, the dude in the back on her back, right?
Yes,
And then-
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay,
Yep, that was *Malignant*. Yeah, I like Akela Cooper's
that
work.
was like Bilal.
Yeah, *Malignant* is basically a remake of *Basket Case* in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have anything else you want to say about *Soulmate* other than the fact that they released this?
Watch it. I was gonna say no. They just watch it and form your own opinion.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. It's just all these archetypes. I was just like, oh, you beat me down with this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie was woke, man. It was woke. No, it was good. It was really good. I didn't mind it. I did like the makeup though when she got that stuff thrown in her face.
The paint thinner thrown on her face. Yeah.
She was trying to choke him out, and
Mhm.
he grabbed some paint thinner, and it was like, which is okay. I had a problem with that too because paint thinner,
Mm-hmm.
you literally have to push the top down to twist it off because it's like if you know it
Mhm.
locks, so you can't spill it.
Mm-hmm.
How did he do that with one arm?
Yeah, he did open it. He unscrewed the cap with one hand.
You can't.
You're not supposed to notice that.
Well, I did.
I was gonna say *Soulmate* has been released on digital and in a movie theater at the same time, so you can watch it. I think Amazon Prime is where they put it. Actually, let me double check. Rather than me just saying I think,
Yeah.
let me just go ahead and look it up.
Amazon Prime.
And give you
Drop
the
Dead
right-
Fred. I've never seen that.
You've never seen *Drop Dead Fred*?
No. I saw Weekend at Bernie's.
It's not the same type of movie. *Drop Dead Fred* is about a woman who had an imaginary friend when she was a child.
Oh.
And when she gets some type of emotional trauma as an adult, that imaginary friend comes back.
Oh, I did see that. I saw that with you two.
Mm-hmm.
It was boring. I didn't like it. I
Right.
can think of another movie where a dude has a female and just starts trying to bang it. The Adrian Brody movie with the alien chick with her eyes.
Oh,
he
Splice.
he
Splice.
banged her too.
Yeah. So *Soulmate* is available to rent on Prime Video, Apple TV, Fandango, YouTube TV, and Row 8.
There you go, guys.
And it's also at the movie theater. So
Take a look at it. Tell me what you think.
yeah, I thought it was fun enough.
You were enjoying it.
Yeah,
You really were.
I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
All right,
And
now
it was like the song. You were like, as soon as the song hit, that movie just went from 3 stars to 5.
Mm-hmm. All right. So on to the next one.
Don't forget to hype this video. Thank you so much.